Hello everyone. Hello everyone. My name is David Arzate, and today I'm going to be doing a Goblin Biker Radiant Typhoon deck profile. I really like to go for this deck profile because I really like the Goblin Bikers when I make the deck. When I got it from the most of the packs that I got from the Collecticon, and most of the packs that I got from the Collecticon, which was really good. I had a good time. I'm gonna show, and I got a lot of cards that I got from the Radiant Typhoons and stuff. But also, so without further ado, I'm gonna showcase my deck profile, which is just a budgeted, but I'll go with it. First, I got 2 copies of Goblin Biker Gone Wild, this is actually a really good card, which is I would definitely add another one because it's a really good card. Because if you control normal monsters, or all the monsters I control are Goblin monsters, I can normal summon this card without tributing, and you can only activate each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Goblin monster from your deck. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one card on the field attached to one card on the field, attach it to one Goblin disease monster you control. So, yeah, you can go with that, and 2 copies of that. Next, I got 3 copies of this is basically your Stratos, because this card works really good. Because if this card is in your hand, you can detach an Xyz material from a monster on either field, and if you do, special summon this card. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Goblin Biker spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is really good because it can detach an Xyz material from any monster It could be either one of your monsters or the opponent's Xyz monsters. So it's like a steal. Got 2 copies of Boom March. Once per chain, during the main phase, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can detach one Xyz material from a monster on either field, and if you do, special summon this card. But you cannot special summon Goblin Biker Boom Mark until the end of this turn. So I just Boom Mark got. I got 2 copies of Mean Merciless. Mean Merciless is not really a 3 of because I mostly run her on 2, because if this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon one Goblin Biker monster from your hand, except itself. And during the main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can detach an Xyz material from a monster on either field, and if you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it's really good. I just really like it. And I got 2 copies of Goblin Biker Clatter. Sploder is when this card is normal or special summon, you can target a Goblin monster in the graveyard, special summon it. And then during the opponent's main phase, if this card is in a graveyard, quick effect, you can detach a material from a monster on either field. If you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So you can bring it back from the grave. And I definitely will show you case the combo because I love this thing. Now we're gonna focus on my engine, my Radiant Typhoon. I got 2 copies of Swen. Swen is a really good card because if you have Mystical Sace Typhoon in the graveyard, or if your opponent controls no spells or traps, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Radiant Typhoon spell / trap or one Mystical Sace Typhoon from your deck to your hand. It really adds into the play. But it can only work if you have Mystical Sace Typhoon. 2 copies of Manghala. Manghala is that if you have a Mystical Sace Typhoon in your graveyard, or your opponent controls no spells or traps, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, if a Radiant from your deck with a different name than the monsters you control, and you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except that. I don't really use her, but I'll just go with it. Next, I have 2 copies of Elidam. I know how to pronounce names because it's really hard. If you have Mystical Sace Typhoon in your graveyard, or you control no spell and traps, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use special summon Radiant Typhoon once per turn this way. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Radiant Typhoon monster or one Mystical Sace Typhoon from your deck to your hand, which is a really good card because you can add more monsters or Mystical Sace Typhoon, which is really relies. Next, you have 2 copies of Radiant Typhoon Kurelska. Kurelska has a special ability, is that if a quick play spell is activated, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is special summon or normal summon, you can add one Radiant Typhoon card, except or or Mystical Sage Typhoon from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which adds a lot of options. It really adds lots of options. I got one Vibrant Vortex is also did too, because if a quick play spell card is activated, except during the damage stage, you can special summon this card from your hand. And when your opponent activates a monster effect, you have two Mystical Sage, you can negate that effect. Then, if you have two or more Mystical Sage Typhoons in your graveyard, you destroy the monster. You can just summon it. It just really adds in the good vibe engine. And I have the Radiant Typhoon, the Radiant Typhoon Phonics, the Great Flame, which I love the Phoenix. I love the Phoenix form. It's so good. If the quick play spell is activated, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if you can target up two cards your opponent controls, shuffle them to the deck. And if Mystical Sage is activated while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. Really adds in the benefits to special summon it when it activates quick play spells. It really adds in the benefits. Now let's go for the spells. I got a Goblin Biker Grand Entrance. I only got one of them because I just don't have the rest of them. Because I can add, this allows you to add a Goblin monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do, apply to your following effect. Detach an Xyz material from a monster on either field. If you do, special summon or level 4 or lower Goblin monster from your hand. You can manage this card and detach one Xyz material from a monster on either field. Then you can add one Goblin back to your hand. I mean, I would definitely get another copy of that, but unfortunately I don't have that one as of yet. 2 copies of Grand Breakout. Grand Breakout is actually a really good card to go. I run 2 because it allows you to tribute a monster, special summon a Goblin monster from your deck, but it cannot attack directly this turn. And when a monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard and detach any number of materials from Goblin Xyz monsters you control, and all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 1,000 attack points for each material detached until the end of the turn. So yeah, it's really good if you're up against an opponent where, oh no, he's going to attack, but I can banish this card from the graveyard and then detach as many as I can, so that way I can stop his attack or making him regret his decision. Not asking, but yeah. Next, I got Grand Bash. Grand Bash is actually, I run 2 because not to add some consistency, because this card adds Goblin monsters you control gains 300 attack for each Goblin monster you control. Now, during the main phase, I can normal summon one Goblin monster in addition to your normal summon set. Then you can only gain this effect once per turn. You can target 2 Goblin monsters you control, then apply one of these effects. One, you can either make one of the monsters become the current level of the other, or both of their levels become their combined original levels. So yeah, it's really good to have these. Most of them I run are mostly level 3s, but it relies on level 3s and rank 6, and the Radiant Typhoon engine is just like another way to bring out level 3 monsters, and this is what most of my deck relies on. Next, I have Radiant Typhoon Chant, just to allow you to add Mystical Sage Typhoon from your deck or graveyard to your hand, or add a level 4 or lower Radiant Typhoon from your deck to your hand. I mean, if this card is destroyed by the effect of a Mystical Sage Typhoon, you can just set this card, which it allows you. It's just really awesome because even if you set it down, you set the card down, activate Mystical Sage Typhoon, and it destroys the trap card, and it has the following effect. If this card is destroyed by the effect of the Mystical Sage Typhoon, which it was, and if it was sent to the graveyard, it sets back to the field. And this card and Mystical Sage card is in the graveyard. You can activate this card's effect just to grab it or just to grab it again or just add additional benefits, I think is good, but also it just allows it. I don't know the concept of this deck profile, but I just love it. It's just I love it. I just love it. I have Vision, 3 copies of Vision, just so I can just allow it. If this card is destroyed by the effect of a Missile Typhoon, you can set this card. Activate one of the effects once per turn. Draw 2 cards, then if you have a Radiant Typhoon card or a Quick Play spell in your hand, discard one of them, or your entire hand if you don't. Or you can add a Mystical Slace Typhoon from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which allows the only replies. Now, I don't have a lot of spell cards left because I have 1 Harpy Feather Duster, 1 Fire Formation Tenki just for search for Swen or any Beast Warrior that I want from my deck to my hand. Next, I have 2 copies of Mystical Slace Typhoon just for the added repositions, just for the play. I got 1 Xyz Mandate, really adds in the benefit. I got 3 copies of Stampede, not ideal because like I really like to put this because I don't have any hand traps because I don't have anything yet, but I love this one. During the main phase, you can Xyz summon immediately after this effect resolves. Xyz summon a Xyz monster using Goblin monster I control. And if you control Goblin Xyz monsters, you can target 1 effect monster on the field. You can detach them on either field if you negate the monster effects until the end of the turn. So I have a negate, but I also just want to do this. Kind of reminds me of Armor Xyz, but just like a cheap knockoff. And I have Xyz Reborn, which I just do it just because I just want to summon back an Xyz monster back and then attach to it. So like bring back my Bangaroga to the field and then attach this card to it as a material. And it doesn't matter if I draw another card that allows you to just detach the trap into the field just to add just another play. Now my extra deck doesn't have a lot because I only have 5 because I don't actually run it. So I have 3 cards, 3 Bangaroga as my starter, and this is your boss monster actually, because if this card is summoned, you can add 1 Goblin monster from your deck to your hand, and if a material is detached from a monster on the field, you could target, except during the damage step, you could target 1 face-up monster on the field, except this card attached to this card as material. Then during the end phase, you could attach 1 Goblin monster from your deck to the graveyard as material, which I can actually just take the monster of the opponent's field, but it can only work if I detach a material to activate its effect. So like if I use, for example, let's say he has I run this, and he has a material just like that, and if I use, well, for example, Boom Mark in my hand. Once per chain, if this card is in my hand or graveyard, quick effect, I could detach the material and detach it and then special summon the card. But that's not all. This triggers the effect because it was attached to the material to activate the effect. Sorry. And then I could just target 1 face-up monster on the field, and it doesn't. I could just choose my opponent's monster, and I can just let it vacuum. Let me just take your monster, and it becomes mine. It becomes your overlay unit, which actually is really cool. This is your go-to monster. Next, you have I only got 2 copies of Bangor Cherokee. I really like this one because this is a really good card, because while it has 3 or more Xyz materials attached to on the field, Goblin monsters can attack directly. And if a monster is normal or special summon while this card is on the monster zone, except during the damage step, you can target 1 of those monsters, detach a material from a monster on either field, and if you do, change the target's battle position. Once per turn, when the opponent monster declares an attack, you can detach 1 material from a monster on either field, and if you do, negate the attack. And I only got 1 copy of Crazy Beast, which is like, I just run it once per turn. You can target 1 spell trap, detach 2 materials from a monster, and if you do, I just like it. from this card instead. If this card is in graveyard, you can special summon graveyard to this card as material. It's just letting you out. This is wow. This is awesome. I mean, I think that's it from my deck. I would definitely, I love this deck profile, and I never actually, like, I would like to play it with somebody, with my friends. I would definitely like it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a really good day.